Now Samuel didn't yet know the Lord, and the Lord's word hadn't yet been revealed to him. A third time the Lord called Samuel. He got up, went to Eli, and said, "I'm here. You called me." Then Eli realized the Lord called Samuel. He got up, went to Eli, and said, "I'm here. You called me." Oh, sorry. So Eli said to Samuel, "Go and lie down. If he calls you, say, 'Speak, Lord, your servant is listening.'" So Samuel went and lay down where he'd been. Then the Lord came and stood there calling just as before, "Samuel, Samuel." Samuel said, "Speak, your servant is listening."
As you might be able to tell from the picture there, one of my favorite pieces of literary work is The Lord of the Rings. In it, at the end, this isn't too much of a spoiler, but I mean, it's your own fault. It's been out since like the 1950s. We find out that Bilbo Baggins, who is the hero of the story, The Hobbit, has written a poem entitled "The Road Goes Ever On and On." The road goes ever on and on, down from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, and I must follow it if I can, pursuing it with eager feet until it joins some larger way, where many paths and errands meet, and whither then I cannot say. The road goes ever on and on, out from the door where it began. Now far ahead the road has gone, let others follow it. Let them a journey new begin, but I at last with weary feet will turn towards the lighted end, my evening rest and sleep to meet. I love that poem. I think it kind of fits with where we are. I also think our scripture does this morning, although that might not be as clear, but I'll try and make it a little more clear. And also, this Samuel text is probably one of my favorite in the Bible. Now, most people think of this scripture as the calling of Samuel, and in fact, most Bibles even say that, like right before this, in the little italics, it says calling of Samuel, and that's always really bothered me, because that's not the way I think of this scripture. Now, definitely it is God calling Samuel, but I don't think that's really what the story is about. See, it isn't a conventional calling story. In the typical call narrative, there's a formal commissioning of the prophet. We don't have that in this story. And usually, in a conventional calling narrative, we get the prophet talking about how they're not worthy of being a prophet. That's in almost every traditional call narrative. We don't get that from Samuel here. This is more of a theophany. Okay, I'll tell you what that means. It's a report about how God appears in the world. Now, one of my mentors, I'm also going to talk about a church in or near Fort Worth, Texas, is Dick Lord, Reverend Dick Lord. He was a longtime minister at Rush Creek Christian Church in Arlington, Texas. But I really got to know him when he was the interim minister at Richland Hills Christian Church in Fort Worth while I was also serving there. And most of what I know about preaching, I learned from him and from Dr. Joey Jeter, who was my preaching professor. Now, Reverend Lord told me, when you're looking at Scripture, look for two things. Who is God in the story, and who are we in the story? Well, luckily, part one is very easy in this story, because God is God in this story. So, we can knock that off. But who are we in this story? Now, we'd like to say we're Samuel. We're the person who is God, who God is calling to do what's next. But that's the easy out. See, I think we're Eli. Now, for a little context, because as those of you who regularly attend the table know, I love context. And what I often like to say, if without context, we think that Jesus drove a Honda. Right? But he didn't like to talk about it. For, as we all know, Jesus did not speak of his own accord. See, Eli has just gotten some bad news. See, Eli had been under the understanding that he and his line after him would serve as the voice of God forever. For the rest of time. That's what God had told him. But his sons are out of control. They aren't doing the work that God had told them and wanted them to do. So word had come down recently to Eli that change was coming. And Eli's line was no longer going to be God's servants for the rest of time. Eli's time was coming to an end. Now, as we are all aware, change is hard. Now, Eli especially has every reason to not want this change to happen. He even has every opportunity here to stand in the way of that change. One might even expect for Eli to work to resist that change. But that isn't what he does. He easily could have stood in the way of Samuel, who is God's instrument of what comes next. But instead, Eli makes it possible for God's next plan to come into play. So who are we in this text? We are Eli. Now, we easily could have held on to the money that we had left and continued to go forward. We could have played out the string. We could have used our funds until we had nothing left. And we could have done some good in that time, for sure. Just as I'm sure Eli could have done some good with the time that he had left. But after Eli was gone, after the table would be gone, there would be nothing left. His sons would do no good after him. And nothing could be done after we used everything that we had. Eli knew that God's church was more important than his feelings, and so he got out of the way and enabled God to work through Samuel. And he helped to set up Samuel so that the future would be better off after he was gone. When we sat in that boardroom down the hall, and we made the hard decision that we made to close this church, we did the same thing. And when those of you in this congregation voted to close and voted to sell this building, you did the same thing. It wasn't a decision that we wanted to make, but it was the right one. One that ensures that the future of the table of FCC Knoxville will continue beyond the 2 to 3 years that we might have had left. It will continue in the gifts that we give that will be permanent. The road will go ever on and on. It isn't easy to recognize when the time to get off of the road is. But God's road never ends. Because our God is a God of resurrection. So even though it feels like an ending, we see that the road ahead of us goes ever on and on. So let them a journey new begin. The road goes ever